Jake, you've been talking a lot about fighters not getting paid. Let's just take a break from crypto for a second. What you got into the boxing world, you're fucking it up. People are not happy. And then you started saying that boxers are getting fucked and UFC fighters too.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, these fighters are getting into the ring and risking their lives, you know, and risking injury. And it's one of the hardest sports, if not the hardest sport in the world. And you have to dedicate your life to it more than any other sport, I believe. And people like Dana White, who own the UFC, are basically creating a monopoly. UFC fighters, out of any organization, out of any league that there is, the owners take the most amount of the cut versus the fighters, which it's a big topic. And me and my brother are creating this movement forward to help fighters increase their pay, because if you're in the UFC, your boss is Dana White. So you can't be like, hey, I don't think we're getting paid fair. Hey, this isn't right, because he'll just cut you and throw you off to the side. But I'm creating a voice for the fighters, and I'm creating a voice to say fuck Dana White. Fighters should be getting more pay, and they are the content. You know, without them getting into the ring, the UFC wouldn't have the content that they sell for hundreds of millions of dollars. These guys are getting paid pennies on the dime, and it's just not fair. And so what I'm doing, my movement forward, is showing these fighters you don't need a promotion, you don't need a promoter, and you don't need to sign into these longer deals. Create your own hype, use social media, and there's going to be a switch in this narrative over the next couple of years. Dana White doesn't make good fights happen. He doesn't make the fights that the fans want to see because he can't pay these fighters enough, or doesn't want to pay these fighters enough. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, one of the biggest fights that everyone wants to see. He won't even pay them $10 million each to make the fight happen, versus some no-name, or not no-name, but like some smaller boxers will get paid $20, $30 million for a fight because they're in control of their own promotions. So, yeah, I just feel bad for these UFC fighters. They need to get more pay. And Dana White's the one in control of that, and they can't say anything. They can't speak up to their boss.
What do you think? Does Dana White like you?
No. No, not at all. He is, I think he hates me more than anyone in the world right now.
Wow.
Because look, I'm trying to take money out of his pocket, give it to the rest of the fighters. You know, I think he's a joke. I think he's a chump. He started off as a cardio kickboxing instructor and got lucky with the UFC, and now thinks he's the coolest person on earth.